Welcome to the Madlab MMA. I'm Anthony Bush-Pacilio, your host, with Mike, the Madlab Ayarado.
What's going on?
We are back after a controversial decision last weekend. We got a great card coming up Saturday, really good card coming up Saturday. But before we go to the card and break down these awesome 4 fights on the main card, there's 5, but there's 4 really good ones. We have to discuss what happened on Saturday night with Shevchenko.
How did you score? Honestly, you don't be biased. Like, did you score for Valentina? Did you score for Grasso?
No. I had Valentina winning 3 rounds to 2 rounds. I had it like it should have been. If that one judge with that 10-8, that should have been 10-9. That was it. I had it exactly the way it should have been.
I scored it exactly the way, like the way Valentina. I just don't understand. Listen, there's a lot of people out there that are taking. Did you see what she did in the post fight? When he said draw, when she drew, she's like, I won.
I won. He goes, it was a draw.
It was a draw.
Yeah.
So, but there's actually people taking victory laps because she actually, that's the rule is you keep your belt.
Well, she kept the title.
But she did. But she didn't win.
She didn't win, but, the thing is that, he is given the rematch, but he could have not gave the rematch, and she has the title.
Yeah, but now you're floating into dangerous territories. You know why? She broke her hand in the fight, Valentina.
Yep.
She's older now.
Yep.
She's got to recover. Then she's got to get back into camp. Now you're looking at that teeter line, like, all right, what happens here? She made the mistake again, dude.
So that's what I was just gonna say. So
that was her round.
I agree.
There was an argument for 4-1 in that fight if she didn't do that.
I agree with everything we're saying, but it was her fault that happened. That 10-8 would have never happened if she didn't make that mistake again.
No, that
wouldn't have happened. She was winning that round. The 10-8 was absurd. Everybody knows it's absurd, but if she didn't make that mistake, it's her fault that it even went that way. I don't know how she did that again. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, she did it again. I was by myself going, she did it again. She made a mistake at the end of the fight again.
So, Cormier made a good point, and I was thinking this, but I didn't really say it on Twitter and everything because these idiots on Twitter. So Cormier said, the only thing I could think of why he scored it a 10-8 round. And he goes, because, look, Chael said this. Chael and they were together. And they said, look, he was scoring the fight in Mexico. They like the whole Mexican pride thing. He realized that, like, Valentina was on her way to winning the fight. His card was showing that. And he's like, you know what, this is where I'll put the 10-8 round. So just to kind of bring her over the ledge.
You can't do that.
Bro, they're having a meeting about it today.
A 10-8 round's a dominant round the whole round.
But they're having a meeting about it today.
Or you severely hurt somebody where they're almost out.
So then you get these...
okay, so let me ask you a question. Let's say the round went the way it went. Like, it just went.
It's a 10-9 round, Grasso, 1,000%.
Let's say it went the way it was, right? Valentina was winning around with about a minute and a half left that happened, right? And let's say Grasso got her good, started beating her up to the point where the ref was almost going to stop the fight, and last second she got... Then maybe a 10-8 round, but it didn't even come close to that.
No, but I don't even know if you do it there. Because, listen, if you have a fight where somebody is winning 3.5 minutes in a round, Valentina's winning 3.5 minutes in a round.
Unless there's, like, 3 knockdowns in a row towards the end and they're bloody
out on their feet.
Out on their feet, like, really, like, barely made it to the end.
There was a better justification to give it to, and that wasn't even, there was no 10-8 rounds in there, but there was a better justification for the knockdown round.
Yeah.
Just because she knocked her down.
When you get that flash knockdown. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, Mike Bell, man, fighters are defending him. People are defending him. There's no justification for that. He's the one who scored it for Holland. Same judge that scored it for Holland. So, like, there's got to be a happy medium. There's no happy. The only thing I can think of is this is one way to fix it if the commission's not going to step in and fix it. There's got to be something where they have to face the pipe. They have to pay the piper, dude. Like, they have to be on standby. I'm not saying they have to, after every fight, they have to come in and they have to get on the podium like Dana White and everybody. But they have to be on standby in case something like this happens. You got to get in front of the media, in front of the people, and you have to
explain yourself.
Oof,
imagine that.
Well, why not?
Why can you
ask
fucking tomatoes thrown at you?
But why can you ask everyone else questions, the fighters questions, but you can't ask the guy
who's in
question?
Man!
Yeah, right? But seriously,
dude.
Like, you don't got to do it every fight. But you're on call. That, listen, just to know if something hairy goes on and something skeptical goes on, you're on call. Like, after the fight, you might have to go up to the fucking podium.
Dude, total. That was messed up.
So anyone who knows how to score a fight, listen, I'm fine either way. Like, if I believe there deserved to be a winner, there should deserve to. But I wouldn't have been like robbery if Grasso won. But if you really know how to score a fight, you scored that for Valentina.
Before we end this conversation, though, I don't want to take things away from Grasso, though.
Amazing, dude.
She is a dog. She is tough. She deserved to be in there. She showed why she won the first time and won the belt. She's that Mexican, tough, old school, kind of like Guerrero Morales kind of boxing fighter. Dude, she is awesome.
But here's the thing. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong. She's very good, but I have a feeling it's almost like Gaddy Ward, where they just match up good. That if she fights somebody else, if she fights like an Aaron Blanchfield or someone who...
Could be.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying...
Yes. Sometimes
they match up is just work. Dude.
Yeah. I totally agree with that, too. So let's see her against another top tier, because...
You won't for a while, because she's going to have an immediate rematch with Valentina.
But they're going to have a third.
But Valentina's got to heal. She's got the broken hand. She broke her hand in the first round.
6 months, right?
Whatever it is.
At least.
Whatever. At least.
So they're going to keep Grasso on the men then?
They're going to keep her on the show. Oh, I'm sure they're both under medical suspension right now for a certain point in time. But
bottom line, that was one of the best women's championship fights that we've seen in a long time.
Well, no, come on now.
What do you mean? Women's championship fight?
It was good, but what about Zhang and JJ, dude? That was.
Oh well, yeah, but that wasn't even a championship fight.
Sure was.
Was it?
I don't know.
I don't think Wang and JJ was even. I think Rose was champion at that time.
Yeah. But
I think
that was a great fight. I want to see it again, though.
Yeah. That was awesome. So, all right, before we get on the card, we got to at least bring up what happened on Monday Night Football.
What a shame, bro.
To Nick Chubb. Bro, that was just horrible, gruesome. And you got all these fancy football dickheads on Twitter, like, talking shit. Like, the guy might have ended his career. By the way, he had a surgery. And they might have to do a second surgery.
Well, I'm going to tell you. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you why. So,
terrible, man.
These guys, listen, we bust balls more than anybody. I mean, I go in after everybody on MMA Twitter. I don't even care. Half of the people don't even acknowledge me. But a situation like this, where this guy literally dedicated his... I don't care how much money is involved. At the end of the day, these guys still love the game. It's something they did since I was a kid. For him to go down like that and have people on Twitter like just not lambaste them, but joking around, with the memes and stuff like that, it's honestly like karma's gonna get you.
Yeah, it's so you got to have a heart, man. The guy's got a family. Yeah. It might be a career-ending thing.
I think it is, and I'm going to tell you why.
The guy's one of the best running backs in the league.
2015, he had that injury.
Yeah, with Georgia.
In the same leg. Not that injury, but the same leg.
Same leg.
Right?
It was close to it.
So he's got a saving grace here, and he has a deficiency here, obviously. The saving grace is that as soon as it popped out, it popped back in. It popped back in on the field. Did. All right, so that means that he's saved, because once you have that blood restriction, and once those tendons and nerves and everything are tangled up, that's where the issue really lies. It's almost like AVN, when it's like bone death almost at that point sometimes in certain injuries. I almost had AVN with my ankle, so it's immediate surgery, but it did pop out. However, it was popped out in such a weird way that I would not doubt. And I don't even know what the diagnosis is. You might even know. I have a feeling he what is it called? Tore all 4 ligaments.
Yeah, I think it's everything. MCL,
ACL. That's what I said. Yeah,
I think it was all 4, 3 or 4.
And he had some serious patella tendon damage.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So for a running back, how you come back from that?
Just terrible, man.
So, I mean, prayers up to him, man. We don't usually do this. We don't usually talk about stuff like this. And I usually see injury, they go off the field. But this one hit me. I was like, man, this is... Because he's a good dude. Like, you never hear nothing really bad about Nick Chubb.
I mean, look, they're all good guys. Obviously, running backs and receivers and quarterbacks are the big names. So you look at those guys more, especially with fantasy football, man. But, man, you hate to see it.
Yeah.
And every time I see an injury like that, I always think of Napoleon Kaufman.
Oof,
remember, it was very similar, that kind of injury. What a great run. His career was over after that.
Well, Ben messaged me, and he's like, and he just messaged me, Joe Theismann.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
I know. Terrible.
So hopefully he gets better.
On to the fights. All right. We have a great card, man. Main event. Dude, this guy has been one of my favorite guys. He's top 3 favorite guy for me, Rafael Fiziev against Mateusz Gamrot. This is a great main event. This is a 5-round fight. Fiziev came on the scene, and I remember because, MadLab's big on like, hey, you got to prove to me that you belong here before anything else. I remember he came on the scene and he debuted in the UFC. I believe it was debut or his first big fight was against Moicano, Renato Moicano. And Lab picked Moicano to win that fight. I was like, this guy's got a lot of talent behind him, but I got to see he's got to show me first. Show me. And he came out and he's got those fast, hard leg kicks. And I was like, wow, this guy's for real. And I just took a liking to him. Gamrot, tough, man, tough, and he's gonna keep coming. He's not gonna stop shooting. He's not gonna stop shooting. He's gonna try to take this guy down. This is a matchup of a guy who's elite on the feet with the kicking, and a guy who will not nonstop motor, cardio for days. We've seen Fiziev get a little gassed out in the later rounds.
Bobby Green,
that Bobby Green fight, and then he just lost to Gaethje, which was a war. And, man, he was a big favorite in that fight. I think he was minus 200 in that fight. And Gaethje did what Gaethje does and kept cracking him with those uppercuts. Great fight, close fight, but Gaethje really got on him in the third round. I believe that was a 3-round fight.
It was a conditioning issue.
It was a conditioning issue. And, I know Fiziev has good takedown defense, even though he hasn't fought that many.
That was a 3-round fight.
Yeah, it was a 3-round fight. It wasn't a main event. Fiziev, on paper, and this is where the stats guys come in, 90% takedown defense, but has he fought anybody who's got great takedowns and who could shoot like Gamrot? No. So you got to watch out when you look at those percentages. I'm just too much of a fan of Rafael Fiziev. I love him. I think he's a real contender in that division. I think maybe his time wasn't just right now what happened with Gaethje, but I think he's going to be right in the mix again after he beats Gamrot. And I'm going to call Fiziev to beat Gamrot, and I'm pretty sure MadLab's going to be on the other side of this. And a lot of times when you got an elite guy like Gamrot who's not going to stop, who has a motor and cardio for days, that's what worries me. If it goes into the fourth and the fifth, is Fiziev going to have enough left in the tank to weather the storm? So I'm hoping he weathers the storm. I can see it getting late to the end and gassing out, and Gamrot keeps taking him down, and he gets stuck down there. But I'm still going to go with my boy Fiziev. And I'm going to say Fiziev by decision.
Oh, yeah. Listen, everything you said I agree with. But the thing with this fight is if you look at his overall body of work, like the guy's a magician striker. And there's usually two kinds of strikers. There's never the dynamic of both meshed together. You either have a very dynamic striker or you have a very fundamentally sound pacing striker. Forget about counter strikers and stuff like that. I'm just talking about the two, your offensive approaches. He's a fundamentally sound striker. You know what I mean? He's got good combinations. He ties his punches together well. He gets you at the end of his punches, but he's also a dynamic striker. He will catch you with things that you're not seeing. But the one thing that stays fundamental with him is his footwork. He's very on the center line. He doesn't really hop around a lot. He'll jump off the center line, laterally, but he's very, very tight. He's just looking to score and looking to score at a economical but efficient rate. The guys who have given him problems have been the guys who are not sitting in front of him. Look at Bobby Green. Bobby Green is a guy who's very hard to pin down. It's like he's like a riddle. You got to kind of chase him down. He's going to catch you with things. Fiziev has shown the ability to be caught. He does get cracked.
Gaethje was cracking him.
But I'm just saying, by lesser opposition. You know what I mean? So when you look at a guy like Gamrot, you're looking at a guy who, he's not really super dynamic, like a Bobby Green, where he's like laterally moving, using the real estate of the cage. But he presents a second-level threat where this guy will shoot for your hips. He's a good striker. He's very well-rounded. He's got a fundamentally sound striking game. He's got good power. But his grappling is where, if he really needs to, that's where he can make his money. So if you look,
were you surprised how easily Dariush handled him, though? Remember, that was dominant.
Yeah, but momentum plays a huge factor.
That was dominant.
Yeah, I know.
I was a little shocked by that.
But you got to remember, Dariush does also bring that double-level style.
Of course.
He brings in the kickboxing. He brings in a great jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
He doesn't have to fear the jiu-jitsu or the grappling in this fight. So he can go for that all day. He's got to worry about that with someone like Dariush who can snatch up guillotines or stuff like that. With Fiziev, he doesn't have to worry about that. So when you look at his takedown accuracy, you're looking at like 35%, whatever it is. But you got to remember, it's not 35%. He's shooting.
Yeah, for every 20, he's getting 7.
He's going to get, you know what I mean? So it chops that down. When you look
That's
at
where the numbers, you got to be careful looking at the numbers.
Yeah, you got to be careful because even Fiziev with the takedown defense, 90%. Okay, he's 90%, but look at his last couple fights. Gaethje took him down. Gaethje's not even, he's a wrestler, but he never used Gaethje took him down. Dos Anjos took him down 2 times. Rydell took him down 1 time. So his past 3 fights, he's been taken down in every fight. Now you're getting a guy in Gamrot who is going to apply that pressure on him. He's going to continuously go back.
He's got a motor, man.
And he's got a motor on him. So how does Fiziev win this fight? He's got to use the real estate. He's got to keep him off him. He's got to keep him off him. He's got to keep him off him. To get a rhythm, I just don't know if he's going to be able to keep Gamrot off him for 25 minutes. I think in the fight that's in the rounds that are really, really close, I could see Fiziev closing the gap with 1 minute left, maybe securing a takedown, locking him up against the cage, getting the control time, stealing the round. Next thing, maybe Fiziev starts getting a little edge. He starts getting lost in translation, goes for the hips. Maybe he doesn't even get the takedown, pins him against the cage, gets the control time. You know what I mean? So he's got to have a lot of escape routes in this fight. Where Gamrot just got a lot more paths for me in this one. So, I mean, if it stands for 25 minutes, I put my money on your side all day. But I'm going to the dog here. I'm going Gamrot to get him done by decision.
How do you like the line? I think it's a pretty fair line, minus 155.
I think it could be tighter, dude. I think it could be like...
Pick 'em?
Yeah, not a pick 'em. I think Fiziev's the rightful favorite, but I think it should be a little tighter.
All right, cool. Next fight on the card, another good fight, man. Doug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell, Dan 50K Ige. You got to love his nickname, right? I actually met Bryce Mitchell. I went to Bare Knuckle over in New Orleans when Alan Belcher fought for the championship.
Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell was there, sitting down right where I was. I walked right up to him. Nicest guy in the world. He got right up. I'm like, yo, I'm a huge fan. He's like, oh, yeah, man, where you from? What's your name? I talked about MadLab. Just a real cool, nice country guy. Because of that, I became more of a fan because of how nice he was. Such a cool. He even talked to me later on, too, and, like, asked me a question. Real cool guy. Anyway, tough fight, man. I know, Mitchell got absolutely destroyed by Ilia Topuria. And I know that
at his own game.
At his own game.
Yeah.
I know that had to take a lot of confidence out of his sails, take a lot of wind out of his sails, So seeing how he comes back mentally from that, because Topuria really put it on him. But, man, Ige's just tough, bro. Ige's a tough out for anybody. And I think that Ige also does fight to the level of his competition. So,
always.
You know what I mean? So no matter who he's fighting, he's going to be a tough out. I do like Bryce Mitchell to rebound here, snatch something up on Ige. Ige's tough to finish,
You think he's
man.
going to finish him?
I think he's going to prove a point here, Mitchell, man. He's going to prove a point. He's going to come back here, and I think he's going to finish Dan Ige, and I'm calling that. I know that's not the way it should go, but I'm going to call Bryce Mitchell by a finish here. He's going to snatch him up.
What's up? What round?
Third round.
Third round sub?
Third round.
All right, yeah, I'm really torn on this one. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to talk myself on or off one of these guys right now. That's how that's how tight this
tough,
fight is.
Man.
The thing with Bryce Mitchell is, by all rhymes and reasons, this guy should win this fight if you go from a talent perspective, right? But the issue I got with this, I don't know if this kid mentally where he is right now. This kid's all about like conspiracy theories and underbridge tunnels.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Now he's talking about his ex-girlfriend tried to kill all his crops and his animals, and he just, I don't know. I hate to say it because I respect the guy so much, but he's turning out to be like a mini Eddie Bravo. You know what I mean? Like big into everything's conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Listen, some of the stuff that he says, I'm not going to disagree with. Some of the stuff he says does make sense, but where is his head? Like, is his head into this camp? What are the rhymes and reasons why he's fighting? Is he fighting to produce his farm? Is he fighting because he wants to become champion? Is he fighting just because it's all he knows? That's all he knows? Like, what is his rhyme and reason for fighting? Because his head just doesn't seem like it's in it. It just I don't know what it is. But on the other side, you better be prepared for someone like Dan Ige, because Dan Ige is a guy who is a very good striker. He's very underrated with his power, too. He's got good pop on his shot. He's extremely durable. You're going to know when you sign on the dotted line, when you get into that cage and leave, you're going to know you've been in a fight.
Yeah.
And win or lose, you're going to know you've been in a fight with this guy. And also his grappling. He's got very, very underrated grappling. So where does Dan Ige win this fight? Obviously, he wants to keep this on the feet because Bryce Mitchell is at a deficiency on the feet. But if this fight goes to the ground, I think what Bryce Mitchell is, if he's locked in, he finds ways. He couldn't find ways with Topuria.
He did against Barboza.
But he did against Barboza. But Barboza is also deficient on the ground.
Sure.
Ige's really not. You know what I mean? But he was able to close that gap. He was able to stand the strike with him. Obviously, we know he's durable. He was taking some nasty leg kicks.
Do you think Topuria is just that much better, or you think that Mitchell just didn't?
I'm going to call it right now. Topuria's going to be champion.
You think he's going to be Volkanovski?
I think if
oh, that's a bold claim right there.
I think he could be Volkanovski.
Wow.
Because you're talking about a guy who is coming in with he's so fresh.
Yeah. He is elite.
With that skill set. Where Volkanovski, listen, I love Volkanovski. I don't see many people beat him at all, but he's starting to go through it now. These wars and these tough fights and getting hit a lot. Topuria is really, he got clipped once in his career that made it look like that, that kind of put him on stinky legs. So I don't know, man. It depends when he fights. If you fight him right now, I pick Volkanovski. But if he fights him, You know what I mean?
A year from now,
wait. Well, who's Volkanovski?
I think they're trying to make that.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, it'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. I would
great
have to really,
fight.
But that's a fight where if people think that Volkanovski's going to roll him, they're crazy.
Yeah, no way. And the line's going to be -3 something for Volkanovski.
Easy. Yeah.
You know?
So with Bryce Mitchell, though, this is a guy who he finds ways to lock you down. He's got creative grappling. He's got his own way of grappling. He takes like the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mindset, but he with his own canvas, he paints his own picture. That's what I like about him. He does have issues getting you to the ground sometimes, and Ige will, give him some issues there. So I'm really torn here. I'm really, really torn here. I'm going to go with Bryce Mitchell just from a talent perspective. I'm going to say by decision. I don't think he finishes Ige. I think he'll get enough top control maybe, but I would not be shocked if Ige comes out and wins this fight. Not at all. I wouldn't be shocked at all. So, I mean, for picking perspective, I'm going Bryce Mitchell. I'm going to tell you guys from a wagering perspective, I would stay far and away from this one.
Ige's a live dog.
Yeah.
All right, next fight on the card, we got Marina Rodriguez, Michelle Waterson. Michelle Waterson, veteran in the UFC, been around forever.
Second time they're fighting.
Marina Rodriguez, man, for a while, she looked like she was on the path right to the belt. And I don't know what happened against Lemos and Jan Jaroba. She should have won that fight. I don't know what's going on with her personal life. She just did not look like the Marina Rodriguez that we saw that whipped those seven wins in a row or whatever it was, I think she rebounds here. Waterson's always tough no matter what, but she's also on the tail end of her career, and Marina Rodriguez is in the prime of her career. I'd like to see a bounce back win from her. She is a sizable favorite at -310. I'm going to call Marina Rodriguez by decision.
Yeah, the thing with Rodriguez is great striker, right? Long striker. She wants to keep you at the end of her punches. She wants to keep you in her range. Problem with her is there is a blueprint out on her, is her takedown defense. So if you look at Lemos knocked her out, whatever, but and we know how good Lemos' hands are, but Jandiroba was able to secure a takedown in times that she needed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and she really would, control the situation from there on in. But when you look at Waterson, you're looking at somebody who is a natural atom weight. Like, she's been undersized for this division for a long time because obviously UFC doesn't have the atom weight division. The only people that she ever has a sizable advantage on is people like Tisha Torres, other atom weights that were coming up. So she's always at a disadvantage here, but she fights like a bigger girl. She some of her techniques I don't agree with, like the head and arm throw. She does this head and arm throw that's a 50-50, that is a high risk, high reward throw. And if you're bigger, that's okay because you have the leverage and you have the torque to pull somebody around. But if you don't, you can end up on bottom position, and that's never a good thing. And it's happened to Waterson a few times. But she's a dog, man. Michelle Waterson is somebody who literally has that wide-based karate stance. It makes her fight longer than she is. She's got very good grappling. We know she's been through it. But the problem is also she's lost, I think, 4 of her last 5 or 5 of her last 6. She's coming up short. You got to wonder, is the game catching up to her a little bit? Or is at her size that she should be able to utilize all her speed at that size? It's starting to decline a little bit. I honestly think Marina Rodriguez is going to tattoo her up.
Do you?
In this fight, yeah. And I don't say that often about Waterson, but I think Rodriguez is going to tattoo her up on the fight. I think Michelle Waterson is going to have failed takedown defenses. I think in the first round, she's not going to find her because she's all over the place. She's going from A to B. She's always using her movement. It's hard to pin her down. And you're going to see Rodriguez probably is going to be sluggish. She's probably going to throw a punch here, punch. It's just but I think from the second round on, I just think she is not going to be able to even get everything she throws is just, you're going to see it on her face at the end of the fight. You're going to see it on the face.
She's going to be wearing it?
She's going to be wearing it. So I'm going to either say Marina Rodriguez by third round knockout or by decision.
Wow. All right, I like it. All right, last fight we're going to cover. Here's Brian Battle, AJ Fletcher. Battle was a Contender Series winner. I think he beat Treshian Gore in the final. We saw that fight. Tough guy. We got AJ Fletcher, man. MadLab was high on Fletcher when he first came out. And then big disappointment against Smellersberger, and he really gassed out bad, man. Just adrenaline dump. He gassed out. The guy's got, he's a physical specimen. I mean, he's got a crazy, freak physique. I think he has the skills. He lost 2 of his last 3. He did have that win last time he fought. I think Fletcher's going to show up like the Fletcher that you liked when he first came out. I think this is a tough fight, period, but I'm going to go with the dog here. I'm going to go AJ Fletcher. I'm going to think that his cardio issues are behind him, and I'm going to look for him to win a decision.
Yeah, AJ Fletcher is a guy I was high on because there was something about him. He reminded me of like a bigger version of Sean Shark. Remember Sean Shark?
Yep.
You know what I mean? But without the conditioning. That was the problem. I really couldn't assess that from his other fights before he came to the UFC. So, he's a physical specimen, like Anthony said. But, the problem with him is his output does not taper down to his conditioning. That's the most important thing in fighting. If you don't have good conditioning, you need to taper your style to your conditioning.
Yeah.
It's a genetic thing. Some people are just genetically predisposed to, limited conditioning, where some people have great conditioning, where you can do whatever you want. Your trainer can throw anything he wants at you, and he knows you're going to last for 3 to 5 rounds. When you're AJ Fletcher and you're carrying that much muscle, you got to oxygenate, those muscles with the blood. It's a lot hard with the lactic acid buildup, so you tend to gas quicker as it is. So if you're also that on top of predisposed to having a genetic flaw in your conditioning, you're going to burn out after 1 round, especially with wrestling. I mean, this is what he likes to do. He likes to, he throws, heavy hands, but he likes to wrestle. The reason why I'm picking him here in this spot is because I'm still not high on Brian Battle. I'm still not high on him. I think that this kid has very good escape routes. He finds ways to win, which is important because you can't teach somebody that. Like that's something where you either that's wired in you to sniff it out or not. It's almost like having a hound dog that you can't take a hound dog and bring him to the woods and expect a German Shepherd to be able to sniff out a rabbit. That's what a hound dog does. It's just genetically wired into him. So that has to be wired into you, and he does that very well. What I think is going to happen in this fight is going to be really strange. I think AJ Fletcher is going to come out. He's going to win the first round decisively. The second round is going to be really close because he's going to slow down. Then the third round, Brian Battle is going to win because he gasses out. But I'm going to say that AJ Fletcher has enough in the tank to put it on him for 2 rounds.
And win a decision? You don't think he's going to fix his cardio issues?
I think he fixes it to a point. But
Just enough? Just enough to win a fight?
I think.
But almost losing the third?
But it's either he fixes his cardio issues a little bit or his team tapers him back a little bit and says, listen, bro, you can't be so aggressive in round 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's because sometimes you do get too aggressive in round 1 because you're going to gas out. So you're trying to finish it quick. So I'm thinking that he's going to come out. He's going to win round 1 decisively. Round 2, he's probably going to edge it out close. Round 3, he might drop, and he's going to win a 29-28 decision. But, yeah, I'm going to go AJ Fletcher. I'm not going to give up on him just yet.
There you go. We're agreeing on the dog here. All right, there you have it. We got a great card coming up. We'll see you Saturday night. You know where to find us, themadlabmma.com. Click on the link in the description below. You know what we do. We have an amazing MMA community, breakdowns, DFS, wagers, podcasts, live stream data fights. We're in Discord together watching the fight, so come give us a shot. We also do NFL now too. We
have a week off too, and we're going to be doing box breaks within our community, which is cool. I think I'm going to buy 1 more box.
Okay.
So we're going to do two.
These Prisms UFC cards have 1 autographed card in
2
there.
2 hobby boxes we're going to do, and we're going to do that within. So if you come in and you join, you'll be included in that.
But we also got football always, too. We teamed up with Run Pure Sports for the NFL DFS, and then we have all the guys doing the wagers. We got Sigs doing the college football.
20-plus units in football last week.
Over 20 units last weekend in football wagers. So if you were with us, you had a great weekend. So come join the fun, all right? We'll see you later.